And this has been one of the really big developments over the last 18 months with COVID that we've been forced to do because we haven't been able to meet together in conferences. Of course, our vision as a Christian witness through doctors and dentists everywhere, every community and every nation, and our mission to start and strengthen national movements of Christian doctors and dentists. But we believe the best way of doing that is by training, mentoring, and developing Christian medical and dental leaders, particularly young leaders. And so that's why we've focused very much over the last 18 months, and we will be going into the future on training and particularly on training programs. As I mentioned earlier, we launched training tracks in July of last year. So it's been just over a year now that they've been going. And we also launched a training website where you can access videos and other material. All you need to do is to set up a login, and you can get all this material absolutely free of charge. There are dozens of videos there and discussion questions as well. But I wanted to focus particularly on what we're calling the training tracks today. As we've seen already, we've identified these 10 major areas in which we want to be able to help our national groups to develop, and we want national groups to help other national groups to develop, because we all have strengths and weaknesses. So that the Labour Cross acronym applies across the board to these 10 areas of growth. And you can see that we're attempting to provide a course that will help in each one of these. So in the area of advocacy, for example, we have the bioethics course. In the area of developing volunteers, we have a volunteer development course. And when we're developing young professionals, we've got a thought leadership course and also a postgraduate diploma in family medicine. So at the moment, we have these 11 training tracks operating. I'm not going to dwell on all of these today, but I want to talk to you about the main ones. So what are training tracks and how do they work? Well, a training track it's free, first of all. So we're offering these all free of charge. It's a small group adult learning process with 8 to 12 people selected for a cohort. So people apply for this, they get accepted for it, and they go on to what is a 10-week course, usually 10 to 14 weeks. And the courses are run by facilitators who've actually done the courses before. And we use Zoom technology, although some groups are now meeting in person. So I'll give you an example of that later. We use presentation videos, which are made using PowerPoint. For these have been recorded and are available in at least 7 languages, all of those now. And we use, of course, WhatsApp and the Slack technology to enable interaction. And the idea is that each week, people in their own time watch a video, read an article, we interact to reflective questions on the Slack platform. And then someone's got their microphone on, if you could just check, yeah. And then the people meet together for an interactive Zoom meeting for about 90 minutes usually, where they have a chance to discuss and reflect on these questions more deeply. And so over the course of 10 weeks, you're really going to become familiar with whatever area it is you're studying. And so the model is, we used to say in surgery, see one, do one, teach one. So it's a little bit like that. You learn one, then you facilitate one track, and then you coach people who are facilitating tracks. And so it's based on these biblical principles of, firstly, Matthew 10:8, which is freely you've received, freely give. So we receive training, then we give it to others. And then 2 Timothy 2:2, which is where Paul says, what I've received from Christ, I've passed on to you, and you've passed on to others. So that's the basic methodology for training tracks. And as I've said, we use the Slack platform. It's a free internet platform which enables people to answer questions and follow threads of discussion in the time between the groups meeting. Now, we've currently this quarter got 23 training tracks running. There's 1 or 2 still about to start, but this quarter there will be 23 different training tracks running. So that's 23 groups of about 8 to 10 people who are meeting every week over a period of 10 weeks. You can do the maths. And so it's really grown and built up from last year. And the reason for that is that we've now got so many facilitators who can lead these groups. And you can see this is all from the website, the training track page. You can see all of the training opportunities that there are currently, what they're training, what region it is, or whether it's a global one, and then the names of all the facilitators who are involved, the day of the week they meet, and the number of weeks the course runs for. So it really has grown. Let's just go quickly through these. So the first of all is the Bioethics Track, a 14-week series produced by John Wyatt. And you can see some of the subjects that are covered there. This is, again, all these slides are off the website, so you will be able to see it in more detail there. And we started bioethics with an original cohort of just 8 students that Professor Wyatt led over 14 weeks. And then those 8 became the facilitators, leading 3 new regional courses. And that happened at the beginning of this year. And then now we've got a further 4 or 5 courses happening at the moment. And our aim is to train 450 more trainers over the next 5 years from 2022 to 2026. So you can see how that has grown from small beginnings. The next one is the Sydenham Training Track, which is a leadership training program. And you can see again the 10 subjects it covers in the 10 weeks are listed on the website. And similarly, I started this with 2 cohorts of 8 students each. This was last year. And then those people became the trainers for 4 new groups, which were carried out in English, French, Portuguese, and Spanish. So, and then now in the 3rd generation of these, we have 7 courses in 5 different languages. So we've added Arabic into those. That's due to start in November. And again, our aim is to train 450 trainers over 5 years. So that's bioethics and Sydenham. The 3rd one is Confident Christianity. This is about evangelism and apologetics. So it's sharing our faith and being able to defend our faith. And again, all the topics are listed on the website there. This started last year as well with an original cohort of just 10 students. And then those 10 became the facilitators for 3 groups in different regions: Asia, Oceania, South Asia, Africa, and Americas, Europe. And then the participants of those courses have now become the facilitators for a 3rd generation of courses. And there'll be 9. There are 9 courses running at the moment in Confident Christianity, each with 8 to 12 people in them. So you can see how this has gradually multiplied, because those who've been trained have then become trainers for the next generation. So if you have a look, this is up the top here. This is the Confident Christianity track going on at the moment in Southeast Asia in English. There are 13 people on that. You recognize some of our field workers here, particularly Hedwin is here. And then the bottom one here is Brazil. So this is the Portuguese speaking group in Brazil, which is being led by Gabriel Leo, who is a medical student, and he was one of the first 8 who did first 10 who did Confident Christianity way back last year. And Romania now, of course, they're doing it slightly differently there, but this medical student here, Timothy Madrea, Timothy was on our first course of 10 students who did Confident Christianity. And then he led a combined South American Europe course in the 2nd generation. And now in the 3rd generation, he's running 4 different courses in Romanian, just him. And they use the same videos and reflective material and questions and reading, but instead of meeting on Zoom, they meet in person. And so this was the first cohort here, the 2nd cohort, and this is the 3rd and the 4th cohort combined. So each of them with about 8 people in them. And Timothy lives in Cluj, and 2 of the groups are in Cluj and the other 2 are in Timișoara. So every week he drives out to Timisoara, a couple of hours drive, and leads the groups on a Saturday there. So cohort 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's just a wonderful example of what someone can do when they're committed and organized and have a vision to do it. And all of these Romanian students are being impacted. And the great thing, of course, is that they're learning this material in Romanian because it's all been translated into Romanian. And we hope that as COVID lifts, we'll see many more of these groups meeting, not on Zoom, but actually meeting in person, but still able to use the video and reading material as we go forward. Saline process is teaching how to bring Christ into the consultation room and share him with sensitivity, permission, and respect with patients. And ICMDA has been a member of the Saline Partnership for over 10 years altogether. And we've now got 20 multiplying trainers, including 4 ICMDA field workers as well, who are trained in Saline. We've run new courses this year in Sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, Oceania, Korea, and Latin America. And we want to train more witness trainers and multiplying trainers in the future. So as we go through each of these, just think which of these is something you'd like to know more about from the people who are actually facilitating it or who've done it before, because that will be the opportunity we give you in a little while's time. Disciple making ministry. These are small groups of 4 or 5 people who meet over a course of 2 years regularly, every month or so. And this was developed by Nogul Mamarova, our AEO from Eurasia, with the help of Chris Stein from HCFI, and began back in 2018. But we now have groups operating in most of ICMDA's 14 regions. We want to see more of these groups growing every year. So that's disciple making ministry. And then there are a couple of others that have only just started. The global health track, again, 10 weeks has just begun. We're into week 3 or 4 of that. And then there's also a track on servant leadership, which is now in its 2nd iteration. And you can see, again, all the details for that are on the website. And then I mentioned earlier the International Postgraduate Diploma in Family Medicine. This is not a free course, but we do offer bursaries for people to do it, either for 25%, 50%, or 75% of the whole cost. And we have currently 70 students involved in this 2-year program, 28 in first year and 42 in second year, from over 25 countries altogether around the world. And the next intake will be in May next year. So if you're interested in hearing from field workers who are actually doing this course, then you'll have an opportunity shortly. So there's a few more details. 2-year blended course, 28 students in first year, 42 in the new year who've just started. And our plan in the future is to offer this course in different languages as well. That's not going to happen for another 2 years, but we think that French will be the first new language that we're offering. At the moment, people are meant to go to one of these 6 centers for 1 week of hands-on training during the course. That hasn't been possible because of COVID, but this will be starting up again next year as well. So just to show how things grow, bioethics, it started with 1 group of 8, then there were 3 groups the next, and then there's another 4 or 5 in the next. So 8 tracks altogether have either finished or are running now. Sydenham started with 2, then there were 4 more, then 7. So 13 tracks in 5 languages. Confident Christianity started with 1, then 3, then those facilitators are now leading 9 tracks, so 13 tracks in 4 languages. So what I'm going to do now is just have 3 short interviews. We're going to bring these people up one at a time, just as an illustration of involvement of field workers in tracks. And I'm just going to ask a few questions of them to tell us about what they are doing. So we're going to begin with Alex. Alex is our East Africa Regional Secretary. He's also now the Africa Coordinator on staff. And Alex, first of all, tell us what training that you have personally done or are doing at the moment that ICMDA is offering. Tell us what courses you've taken.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Currently, I have done bioethics. I was in the first cohort that Professor John Wyatt trained last year, and then after that we started training the global cohort, and now we have multiplied to 2 more cohorts, the East Africa cohort and the West Africa cohort. So one of the trainings that I have done is the bioethics training. The second training is the confident Christianity. I was privileged to be one of the people in the cohort that you trained, and now we have a new cohort now that we are training in the sub-Saharan Africa. And I'm also a student in the family medicine program. I'm now in my 2nd year. So I've been in those three trainings.
Now, you joined the program for family medicine quite late, didn't you? And you caught up over a very short period of time, and then flew through the 1st year examination, and now you're in the 2nd year as well. And we've had a couple of others. David Sawadogo is in 2nd year, and John Masabeo is in 1st year. And you'll have an opportunity to talk to Alex more about that in the time that comes, if you'd like to know more about family medicine. So Alex, just tell us what's going on in sub-Saharan Africa at the moment with the various training tracks. Just give us an overview of that.
Thanks. Currently, we have 3 trainings running every week. We have the bioethics training every Monday with a cohort from East Africa, and we have a bioethics training with West Africa cohort on Wednesday, and we have the confident Christianity training with the Sub-Saharan Africa group every Thursday. So currently we have 3 trainings running concurrently in Sub-Saharan Africa. We have seen people really interested in those trainings, and I think this is a time that trainings has really exploded in ICMDA, and I think this is a time that when somebody misses, I don't know if you will really find such a time again. I have one of the Italian proverbs say, the Italians say, "See Napoli and die." Don't die before seeing Napoli. And I think we really want to say that don't miss these trainings before you go to heaven. These are trainings that you don't find in any academic institution. It is a whole world of knowledge that you don't find anywhere else. And Sub-Saharan Africa has really been opened up for these trainings, and we are really grateful for that. And we look forward to multiplication.
Thank you. And of course, Alex started as a trainee, is now a facilitator. And I think you've also got some Sydenham courses running in both French and English in Sub-Saharan Africa too. So there's a huge amount happening across the course, and a lot of African students, both Francophone and Anglophone, are doing the Diploma of Family Medicine course as well. Lovely. Yeah. Thanks, Alex. And I'm going to ask to step up next Marissa. Hi, Marissa. Marissa is a medical specialist in child protection who's based in the Philippines. She's just recently joined the team. But Marissa, first thing I noticed with you is that you were a frequent attender at the webinars we were running every week. You seem to be there quite often, and you're always asking very good questions. And I thought, here's someone who's very hungry to make use of any learning opportunities. But tell us about the training that you've been involved in yourself.
Okay, if I may reiterate what you have mentioned, Dr. Peter, that less to lose but more to gain. And you know, these seminars, the webinars that I have been attending are free. So what I did, of course, I mean, if you know me personally, I'm really poor when it comes to time management. But with the start of the pandemic, I'm the type of person who would just watch K-dramas and J-dramas. But I realized, being part of this organization, I learned to manage my time wisely in such a way that, instead of me watching this kinds of films, why not make myself, make my time more manageable. And also, so at this time, I was able to finish Saline process and Confident Christianity. And at this time, I'm attending every Mondays. I'm a facilitator, not right now, in Confident Christianity. I took the challenge of becoming a facilitator because I realized the more that you'll be able to learn more about Confident Christianity is through me. And I've learned from my facilitators the best practices. Like with some of the facilitators, the way they make other participants comfortable is like, asking, how was your day? How's your family? Things like that. Or some of us will receive a text message, gentle reminder to make your assignment. I'm the type of person that I work best in cramming, but I realize I cannot do that in the webinars that I'm attending because we have to write our assignments in Slack. And so every Mondays I attend as a facilitator for Confident Christianity. On Tuesdays, I attend as a participant in bioethics. And as child protection specialist, of course, I handle patients who were raped, who were abused, and some of them are even contemplating of abortion. So with these learnings that I receive from bioethics, I can counsel these children that I'm handling. And also in terms of my colleagues, how can I reach out to them in a Christian perspective? And then third is I'm attending global health. When I was young, I wanted to become a missionary doctor, but I realized, we are our own missionaries. God has placed us in this specific area as missionary doctors. I cannot reach out to the type of patients that you are handling right now, and you cannot reach out to the type of patients or the colleagues that I'm with. So we are all missionary doctors in our own field. And in that way, I was able to learn and to grow compassion on these missionary doctors. I see the challenges, learning the language, learning the culture. So it's just so fun to be able to interact with the facilitators coming from different parts of the world and sharing their life experiences as they travel to different parts of the country, different parts of the world as missionary doctors. And then fourth, I'm also part of discipleship making ministry under Dr. Christine. So like almost the whole week of every day of my week is quite busy, but of course it was fun. We make friends. I have formed friendships beyond Zoom. So, I get to text, chat with some of the participants that I'm part of, and they're like a family to me now. And with the ordeal that I'm going through with my family, I see you, every one of you here, as my family now. Spiritual family, that is.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And you can see from Marissa, it's not just about the learning. She's hungry for learning, but she's made friendships. She's become a trainer. She's found to know the material much better. And she's formed lots of links right across the countries, but also broadened her view of healthcare mission and what is it about. So let Marissa's experience be an inspiration to you. And let me just call up the third person now, Ella so Ella's joining us now. Ella is she's a pediatrician doing a PhD, and she's based in the Netherlands, and she's part of she's our regional rep for Western Europe. So Ella, I just wanted you to talk a bit about your experience of starting off as a trainee, then becoming a facilitator, and then a coach, and how that's been for you and what you've learned through it.
Yes, thank you, Peter. So in March 2020, when COVID hit us all, we decided in the region of Western Europe that we should do something online, some kind of fellowship, some kind of course online. And that's where the training tracks started as well. So that was my first experience with the Sydenham course. So like I said, with all Western Europeans, and it was very nice. It was during the summer of 2020, and it was led by you, Peter. And yeah, I was looking forward to each session every week. So then after that course finished, we actually had 4 additional lessons because we didn't want to stop the course. After that, I became a facilitator for the English Sydenham training track. And the group mostly consisted of African people, mostly Sub-Saharan Africa. So that was an entirely new experience because they read things in a different way and they learned other things, and I learned from them a lot being a facilitator, and they also learned from us and from the videos that you already recorded. So now we are coaching a group of, actually 2 groups of people from Sub-Saharan Africa, and it's just lovely to see that they are taking up themselves, and that the new friendships and new fellowship is being formed. So yeah, 3 different experiences basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ella, just in the course of a year, started as a trainee, then she facilitated with 2 others, and then now she's coaching a group of about 6 or more facilitators who are leading courses in Sydenham. And so it's, you know, we receive and we pass on, and then we help others pass on to others as well. So I hope that gives you a good flavor of the training courses. Thank you very much, Ella, and thank you to Marissa and Alex as well for sharing.